G'day, legends. Welcome to the Pot Noodle. I'm your host, Jared, and joining me is Liam. How are you, Liam?
Doing good, mate. Doing good. It's good to be back. I am really, really keen to get some competitive football going again. It has been too long since the last proper Celtic match.
Exactly, and it's kind of how I feel as well. Like I thought, it's the week before the season's due to start. Let's get back to the normal pod. So let's get the Pot Noodle back this Monday. Let's get the Thursday sesh back on later in the week, and let's at least get a run into our legs heading into the season too.
Yeah,
So, we don't want to be having as disjointed an off season as it has been. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll just have a bit of a chat about the off season so far, how we're feeling into the seeds, and throw any questions you got or whatever in the comments as usual, everyone. And yeah, we'll try and make the show as interactive as possible. So yeah, just Liam, how are you feeling heading into the new season? Now we're going to talk about transfers in major depth later on in the pod, so let's not get too far into that. But just in general, how are you feeling? Which players have impressed you the most in our friendly games so far?
well, I think Inamura has surprised a lot of people, myself included. To be quite honest, I knew he was a decent player, but I didn't think he would come in and be as comfortable and as confident as he has been. He's been the sort of the biggest surprise package I would say of preseason. Um, I think Nygren has been the best new signing so far, but you kind of expect that from him because you know he's a Swedish international. You know he's got that class. The fact that we got him for 1.5 million does not tell the story there at all. He's a class act, and you can see that already. And the level of maturity that he shows for a 23-year-old is quite phenomenal as well.
Tell you about him, what's impressed me the most is he gives me Matt O'Reilly vibes. Like he just seems like an old soul. Like whenever you hear him in the press conference or whatever, he just seems like someone who's been there, done that over the years. Like he said, he's a Swedish international. Yeah, we got him for 1.5 million, but yeah, it's a knockdown fee because in the last year of his deal. So realistically, he's like a 6, 7 million pound player. Let's be honest. That's what
Yeah,
I think his club turned down 6.5 million for him at some point in the last 18 months, if my memory was right. And we picked him up for 1.5 million. So yeah, good player. He's fit in seamlessly. But for me, yeah, Inamura, the one you touched on there, is probably the one who's impressed me the most. There's two others that I want to mention as well that have impressed me. I thought Johnny Kenny, up until the last game, has been probably our form striker this off season. Probably been our best forward, like as a striker in particular, because Dazen's been playing on the wing because Jota's out. So realistically, Johnny Kenny's done well, and it's going to sound really strange, but I actually have been impressed a little bit, not a lot, by Austin Trusty.
yeah,
I think,
particularly in the Newcastle game.
yeah, I think the last 3 games in particular, he's got a run of games. He's built up his fitness, and he's getting those reps into his legs in our system, and yeah, he's looking an improvement on what he was last season. So yeah, could be a bit of an interesting one there. So, is there anyone else that you haven't touched on there, Liam, that's impressed you, or do you want to go the other way? Who are you most disappointed with from what
One
you've
one
seen this
more
season?
that's one more that's impressed me before we start getting ripped into people. The one that has impressed me is Sinisalo. When he's played in goals, he really is looking like Casper Schmeichel Mark II, and I really think that's a future long term Celtic goalkeeper. That's a potential future Celtic captain there. The see the just the amount of counting down the 5 minute timer here. The, when you saw that penalty shootout the other night, right? The amount of absolute shithousery that he was into was just, I was there for it, and it was great. Um, that's confidence, and that's confidence that belies someone so young. It really was great to see. I love seeing goalkeepers get into all that.
You know me, I've said it numerous times over the years, Liam. I love goalkeepers who are a little bit mental. They're just not all there. And he
Yeah,
looks like he's got that bit about him where he's quality player, but he does have that bit of like a switch that can be flicked and he can just like wind people up and just frustrate you where you just want to, if you're the opposition, you just want to like leave a foot in on a tackle or, bump it around or whatever. You just want to give them a bit. So I love it.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah. Future Hunskelper in the making, calling it now.
Uh, You said he reminds you of Casper or whatever. You know what I'm thinking? Holy
Boric,
Golly Mark II.
yeah. Aye.
He's
My
giving me
my
that
dad
vibe.
made that same comparison the other night, actually. Yeah,
He actually gives me that vibe in the way that he plays. Like he's got the skill set, but he's also got that shithousery about him where he can get out there and get after it. So it's yeah, it's great to see.
yeah.
So what I want to do, we'll go through the current squad list,
Hmm.
and then obviously we want to discuss what positions are in need of urgent strengthening. So we'll talk about that as we go through the list, right? I
Hmm.
want to talk about the also want to go through for the UEFA, the 8 players we've got to have for the homegrown quota and the
Oh yes,
reserve.
yes.
I've got that
Our
in the list.
DEI quota. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got all that ready to go in it as well. But at the same time, we can talk about which players have not impressed you at all during the off season. So is there anyone you want to go studs in on before we even start on the squad thing or not?
I mean, look, I don't want to kick a guy when he's down, but Adam Ida really needs to up his game. Um, I don't know if it's a fitness thing, if it's a mental thing. It's not right for him right now. Something is not right with him as a player, and we need to figure out what it is and get it sorted because he's just not doing it right now.
All right, I'm going to dive in on that right now because
Okay.
I've got a bit of an idea here. Ida is disappointed, yes.
Mm.
Okay. Now look at it like this: if you're in your job every day and you're doing what you can and you're trying to improve, and then you play well, and then suddenly Dazen's put in a striker, so you're back to the bench. Then at the end of the season, you get a run of games, and then Dazen is back on the wing because Jota gets hurt, right?
Mm.
You get a run of games, and you start to, not do a lot, but better than what you were doing for the last 3 months. And then every time there's a press conference and someone asks the gaffer, "Oh, so what are you going to do for a striker? Replace Kyogo? Blah blah blah." And he was like, "Oh, I need to get quality. I need to get this first team striker in." Every time you'd hear that, what's that do for your morale? What's that do for your effort and wanting to put the effort in to go and do that? Because I'm not of the sort where I don't know what it is about Eder. I think
Mm.
there's a player in there still,
Yeah.
but I actually think he would be a better player in not necessarily an Ange system, but say if we had a different manager than Brendan, I just think he'd work a lot better for us. If you had him in a Gordon Strachan team, for instance,
Yeah.
you would, or even a Ronnie Dahlia team, different story. But I just don't know what it is at the moment. I just can't figure it out what it is about him that it's just not right. But I don't know whether it's the motivation's not working. Um, the other thing, and McLaughlin's just nailed it in the comments here. He needs a strike partner.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see Ida as part of a two up top formation. I think
And that
he could really do well with that.
And that's the thing with bringing in. So we'll start off with the strikers on the squad list. I'm just going to open up on my phone here, make it a bit easier for me to look at. But okay, so up front you've got Ida, Yamada, Osmond, and Kenny.
Mm.
If we were to, and then you look at our wings, and basically right wing you've got Forrest and Yang, left wing Maida and Jota. Jota's injured, so you rule him out. So
Yeah.
basically we've got 3 wingers, not counting Tilio, obviously, because his rubbish is going, but
Mm.
realistically, you've got Yang, Forrest, and Dazen as your wingers. So the massive issue there at the wing position, which means if we went to a 2 up front, and if we were to change to a 3-5-2 formation, which Brendan played at Leicester,
Yeah.
Eder and Yamada together, I'd like to see that. Or even Eder and Kenny together, I'd like to see that. But yeah, at the moment, I just don't know what it is with Eder. It just doesn't seem all there.
The thing is about the 3-5-2 as well, with Kieran Tierney back and with Alistair Johnson on the other wing, you've got the pace in your wing backs there to make it work. You know, those are two guys that can really bomb it down the flanks, and I think that would I mean, I'm really excited to see next season how Tierney's going to link up with Maeda down that left wing. That's going to be There's going to be some spectacular stuff going on there. Um, but yeah, I would love to see us try the 3-5-2. Especially because we're not sure at the moment who's the starter. Is it Trusty or Scales? We'll play both of them.
And that ties into something I wanted to bring up, Liam, because if we're going to switch to a 3-5-2, so the priority at the moment for the 4-3-3 that we play is we need two wingers. That's the absolute priority for me. Like, that's what needs the most strengthening. We need to bring in a starting right winger to replace Kun because we just sold our starter, and we need to bring someone in who can be on the left, back up Jota's out, back up Maeda, and then when Maeda does eventually go back into a striker position, once Jota comes back, whether it's this season or next season, have someone there to challenge him for the jersey. So we definitely need to bring in two wingers, one for each side. But then if we're gonna make this change to the 3-5-2, then the biggest priority for me to play that system is we need another centre back and a number 6. Those are your big priorities. It's not the wings. It's not the strikers. You need a backup for Calmac, and you need someone to partner with CCV and probably Trusty or Scales, whoever it would be. And we've been linked with this Simpson Pussy guy from, I'll just say it that way, from Man City. And we'll talk about him like that a little later on, because that's how I got the pod name, A Return to the Old Ways,
Yeah.
loans from the City group. But if you were to do that, cool. You need to bring in those two positions. So it all depends on how are we going to do this? What positioning what formation are we going to play, and what's the priority? Do we want to go a 3-5-2? And if we do, we need another centre back and probably a number 6 to back up Kelmac. Are we going to go Are we going to stay at the 4-3-3? Then we need two wingers.
Well, the other thing about that is that wingers are a notoriously difficult position to recruit for. It's very difficult to get wingers at a fair price because they tend to be the most creative players in the team, thereby they're the ones that command the highest fee. So you're talking, that's why all the wingers we're looking at, we're offering 2 or 3 million. The clubs are like, no, we want 5, 6, 7, 8 million. Because one, it's players that they are going to struggle to replace because they know how hard it is to get wingers. And two, Celtic have played their hand too early because everybody knows we've now got an extra 17 million quid burning our hole in our pockets.
On top of the almost 100 million we have in the bank at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, Henrik. Come on, mate.
Oh, come on, Henrik, really? Have you read my stuff? It's the antithesis of that, literally.
Yeah, so realistically, Liam, I'm looking at this squad lineup, right? So the current lineup, I'll just go through it just for peace of mind and everything. So goalkeeper, we have Casper, Sinisalo, and Doohan. Centre backs, we have CCV, Scales, Trusty, Dane Murray, Stephen Welsh. On the right, we've got Alistair Johnson and Tony Ralston. On the left, we've got Tierney and Inamura. Middle of the park, we've got Calmac in the 6. We've got Bernardo and Hatade, Engels, McCowan, and we've got Nigrin. And then we spoke about the wingers. We have Maeda, Jota, Forrest, Yang, and then up front it's Ida, Yamada, Osmond, and Kenny. So currently that lineup is 26 players. You have to have 25 players for your Champions League registration. Jota is the one who drops out because he's not going to be fit till after the Champions League.
Yeah.
So straight away that brings you down to 3 wingers for the squad. Okay? Then, if you're going to go through the club trained, nation trained, usually we go 4 and 4. That's how we divvy it up. That's how it normally is. You have to have 8 association trained players. Well, we currently have 1 association trained player in McCowan, and we have 7 club trained players in Tierney, Doohan, Murray, Welsh, Ralston, Forrest, and McGregor. So that is why Welsh is hanging around and he hasn't gone anywhere yet, because if he goes, we've got to get another association trained player in, or we've got to promote from within again. So looking at the squad and the way it is, it's going to be a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, just Liam, should we be concerned at the lack of first team ready signings coming in this off season, or do you have confidence we will get everything addressed by the time the transfer window closes?
When it comes to this board and transfers, I never have absolute confidence. That's the harsh reality of it. But we will get players in. Whether they're going to be the players we want or whether they're going to be permanent or loan is the problem. I mean, straight off the bat, this guy from Man City, if we are looking at him seriously, unless it's a loan with some kind of option to buy, I'm not interested. The days of Celtic developing other clubs' players for them need to end.
Yep, 100% agree. Like, it was the Premier League 2 Player of the Year last year, led him to a title, that sort of stuff. Looks like on paper, and when you look at what the stats people and that are saying, he looks like the perfect sort of candidate to come in, right? So, but as you said, I don't want to be getting someone's player. Like, he's currently valued at about £5-6 million, is what the talk is. Are Man City going to want that at the end of his loan, or are they going to want him to come to us, play a season with us, play in the Champions League or Europa League, one or the other, get that experience in Europe, and then they're going to say we want 10 million for him in the off season? You'd need to lock in what that future fee is going to be. I don't want it to be another Adam Eder situation,
Yeah.
and you'd want him to be the sort as well that if you agree that fee with Man City before he comes in on loan, you're also going to want to have agreed with his agent and him that he actually wants to be at the club, because I don't want another. Who's the guy we had from Barca again last season? Mental blank here.
Alex Valle.
Yeah, I don't want another Valle situation where you bring someone in, there's an agreed fee, but he doesn't want to be at the club. So last thing you want to do is just loan somebody in that they go, yep, Celtic's a good spot for his next move, but he doesn't want to be there. He thinks he's bigger than the club.
Yeah, I don't want somebody who's now. I don't know anything about this guy. He might have the right frame of mind. He might not, but I don't want a player who thinks, yeah, I'm just going to go up and play in that Scottish Farmers League for 6 months to sharpen myself up. Then I'm going to go and play for a real team. I don't want that attitude. You want, like you say, you want guys who are committed to Celtic, who have a long-term view of being at Celtic and doing things in Europe. This guy sounds like a quality player. He, like you say, he fits the profile. It's just a question of, can we get some sort of reasonable buy option into the contract, and is the player up for that? That's the two big questions.
Smell the gloves comment here. I had to bring up. Don't mind a bit of Bissay on loan if he's just got a set fee to buy. And then we'll go through Heavy Vibes is saying we'll leave it to the last few days, then loan signings again.
That is the most likely scenario, unfortunately. Yeah.
And that's what we're all going to tie into what we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes here. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interesting one. So let's get rid of that comment on the screen. So yeah, like for me, I mentioned it early on, I'll be seeing a return to the old ways by looking for loan players from the City Group and others, and not strengthening our first team early enough for the players to bet in prior to Champions League qualifiers. So are we as a club taking a punt on Champions League qualification again before signing players? This reeks of what we were doing when Rangers died and they were coming up through the leagues.
It's the old problem, which goes back to when Ian Bankier was our chairman, because he famously said, we can't compete with top European clubs, so we're not even going to try. And since then, the mentality at Celtic has been like, we're happy to just be part of the party. No, I don't want Celtic to take the same approach to Europe that Scotland take to the World Cup. We don't care if we get beat 8-0. We got here, so that's good enough. No. We have the financial infrastructure. We have the means to build up and become a team that can consistently do quite well in Europe. We are financially in a similar boat to clubs like Bruges, Ajax. Granted, they get more TV money, but we make a lot more than they do in merchandise. So it balances out. We should be at that level, i.e. teams that look to consistently get to the last 16.
Yep, 100%. I think it's a joke. If you're putting Champions League qualification at risk because you don't want to spend a couple of dollars, it takes the piss out of everyone because whose money is that? It's it's the fans. It's not the club's money. Let's be honest. We don't have a big TV deal paying in money. We don't get a lot of money from sponsorship compared to other ones around the world. We'd probably get a lot more in sponsorship if we were to go to Japan and get some of the big companies over there to sponsor us because we've got Japanese players and build that profile. We don't. We're an analog club in a digital world, the way
Yeah,
we're run. And the way I look at it is the guys on the board are either boardroom stale, really stinks like some old spice or something like that. I'm telling you, it's like it's pathetic. It's our money. Like every 2 weeks, there's more merch drops, and then more merch drops, and then a happy birthday tweet, and then more merch drops. It's just a fucking nightmare. Like I don't get it. If they're gonna stockpile all this money from us and charge so much for season ticket money, and then we win the league and we manage to get to a point where we've got 70, 80 million sitting in the bank, and then we sell our starting right winger for 16 million pound, and we're not even going to flip that money and put it straight back into the squad the way we did when Kyogo left. We got 10 million, but we put 8 million straight back out to get Jota.
mm.
Perfect. That's what I want to see. That's what should have happened
Yeah.
when Kun left. If
That's the
Kun
thing. We got a quality player in, and we still turned a small profit. That's the best of both worlds.
That's the player trading model the club bangs on about. But
Yeah.
if we got 16 million for Kun, we know he wants to move. Why haven't we identified his replacement rather than mucking around with this what's his name, Brun or whatever it is from Go Ahead Eagles, where we offer him 1.5 million, they say we want 5. We then offer him 1.75 million. They go no, it's now gone up to 6. We offer him 3.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Huns across town going for their other winger straight up 5 million. And they don't. And yet we're sitting on piles of cash and their share holder confetti over there. Like,
I mean,
it makes no sense.
I wonder how the Celtic board would react if I walked into the Celtic shop tomorrow and said, "I see that new away top that's 75 quid. Right, I'll give you 30 quid for it." What? Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
I'll buy it.
yeah. I think it's worth 30 quid. Give me it. Well, no, piss off. Well, that's how you're talking to these other clubs about their players. That is the exact same argument, you
And
know?
the worst part is all these other clubs know we've got piles of cash because
Yeah,
we're a Champions League team. We made 40 something million, which hasn't even been factored into that money that I was talking about, is in the bank because that's on the next lot of books. So we've got 16 million plus all the Champions League money plus the 70 for 80 million that's in the bank there. So we're gonna have 9 figures sitting in the bank. What for? The stadium needs upgrading. The so there's that. We need a new ticket office to do up work around the stadium, build up our infrastructure. We need to fix what's going on and actually bring in first team quality players on the pitch. And we need to back our manager. It's pretty simple. This is just a joke. Like the sky's not gonna fall in on us because our Rangers are gonna die. Okay, they're actually gonna learn what living within their means is over the next 5 years under these owners.
and that is going to be hilarious to watch just as a sideshow.
Exactly. So I look at it and go, if they're gonna have to scale it back a little bit, we're going to have to we don't have to scale it back. If we're turning over 100 million in revenue every year and we're spending 60 million of that on players and wages, that is still a high turnover. Like that's still high for 100 million, when clubs like Ajax that you're talking about earlier in Bruges, they're spending 45, 50. But they're going deep in the Champions League every year because they're bringing in players and they're looking at going, all right, we've sold our starting player for 15, 20 million. So we spend 10 to get his replacement in, and then we'll spend 5 for his backup, the replacement to that guy. So in 12 to 18 months' time, when that person moves on, we've already got a replacement here ready to step up. And they have that player trading model going that way, the production line. We don't do it. And it shits me.
Yeah. But the problem is, it's not going to change because, and I can't think of a better way to say this, there's too many happy clappers who will go out and buy the 7 or 8 strips every year, who will happily pay over the odds for the ticket prices, who will not cause a fuss at being made to pay 25 quid for a friendly that should be on the season ticket. You know,
I
we've
look at it.
so much of their greed has just become normalised now that we just, you know, I see people talking about boycotts, whatever, in the comments. If there was a concerted effort to do that, I'd be on board for it. But you know, there's enough happy clappers that just won't and will call you a hun for even suggesting it, that it would never work.
Yeah, this whole boycott thing will never work because let's be honest, no one likes to be told what to do. As a support, we're you know what's that quote?
We are rebel scum, yeah.
I wasn't going to go that one. I was going to say the thing is over, the rebels have won,
Aye.
and that's the sort of thing. We have that rebellious streak in us as a fan base. We don't like being told what to do. So I look at it and go, I don't think a boycott's going to work because who do we listen to and who's telling us what to do? Do we listen to the Green Brigade? Do we listen to the boys? Do we listen to other fan groups? Do we listen to supporters groups? Fan media? What do we do here? I can't see everyone getting on the same page, and the board knows that, and that's
Yep.
why they take those free games off the season book and they make you pay for them. Or that's why they keep jacking up these shirt prices year on year on year. I remember under New Balance, I'd get the home top and the away top and the third top every season, and it would cost me maybe 100 and if you waited a month or two, you'd probably cost me $150 Australian for all three tops, right?
Mm.
One top last season, $220 Australian because of shipping and everything. I can't justify it. Like I've got the money to be able to do it, but I'd rather go out for dinner with my wife or go, pay my car rego than buy a top. Like it just makes no sense.
I mean, especially when, careful how I say this, but you know there are sites out there where you can get a top that looks exactly the same for about 20 quid.
Yep.
And it's, the material is near identical. Rumours are they come from the same factory. So, it's, if they charged like, 40 or 50 quid for a shirt, I still think that's expensive, but I would say that's reasonable. But when you know that these things cost less than a tenner to make, what they're charging now is just an absolute piss take.
Yeah, we got this here. The Slobbering Cabbage is saying, to my comment, $220 for one strip. That's heavy duty. Yeah, that's what I paid last year for Casper Schmeichel top with his name and number on the back and shipping to get it here because my wife wanted it. I didn't even get myself a top last season because I didn't really want it. And then it's heavy vibes is like China, 11-pounder top. You can't tell the difference.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, it's just yeah, I just think it's a bit of a joke, really. Like they're trying to fleece us with it's our money in the bank. They're trying to make out that they're doing us a favor by bringing in players, but at the same time, you're not because the club's not being run in the best way it should be. Like I growing up, Liam, I got a sports administration background. I
Mm.
did a I did a diploma in recreation, sports admin, and coaching. Okay, that's my background. Coach state league basketball at senior level, the level below professional league here. Okay, so I've been involved in sports and environments and running competitions and that sort of stuff, right? For me, seeing how this club is run from the other side of the world, it's an absolute it's like the work experience kids are in there sometimes. Some of the decisions and the way it's done just makes no sense to me at all.
No, and that's another thing, right? Just looking at the sort of corporate governance side of it. I was reading an article last week. It says the average sort of tenure for a decent CEO at a company, like someone who's actually good at their job, right? A decent tenure is 5 to 7 years. Peter Lawwell's been with Celtic over 20 years now. That's not healthy.
I was going to say it's 3 to 5 years in a sporting environment, in a like a corporate thing, like a financial thing. It's 5 to 7 years.
Yeah. Aye. Um, So whichever way you look at it, this board is long past its sell-by date.
Yep, 100%. So now we've had that little tangent and little thing there. I'm going to come back to this next question here, Liam, because this is my exact wording. So I've written this exactly how I wrote it down in a pen and then put it into my run sheet.
Yeah.
Why do you think we have been playing with our dicks this offseason instead of signing players of quality that the manager has been asking for months?
Well, again, it goes back to risk aversion at the boardroom level. They know that they probably overpaid last season for Engels and for Ida because of their own pissing about. Right? They are now risk averse because they don't want to get stung by the same situation, conveniently forgetting the fact that it was their own dithering that created that situation in the first place. If we had just given Norwich $5 million for Ida at the end of that season, we'd have got him. If we'd have given Engels' old club, can't remember, was it Wolfsburg, whatever. Anyway, if we'd have given them, 7 or 8 million at the start of the negotiation, we would have got him. But we didn't, because we thought we could haggle, and we thought we were bigger than them. And you can't go into business negotiations with that. You just can't do it.
Yep, 100%. And yeah, it was like we could have got Engels for just over half what we paid for him. We could have got Eder, I think, was for 3.5 or 4 million or something like that. So yeah, it's just a interesting one. Robert Gibson's spot on to the wording on my question there. The audio people, Robert is saying because our dicks give us more satisfaction. There you go. So yeah, it's one of those things. Like look, Brendan's been asking for quality players. When he first came back in the second stint, what was he saying? He wanted power and quality. They were the two sort of players that he wanted, right? And then where are we seeing this? So I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here because this is something I've thought about. I don't know if there's anything to this, but knowing what our board's like and how risk averse they are, as you were saying there, Liam. So they look at it and go, "Oh, we spent money on a Yeti and Barkus, so let's not spend any money for a while. Let's go back to the 2-3 million pound range." Then they get Jota and Carter because in perfect way to spend 6 million on, then get them in on loan for a season and then make it permanent. Great, smart business. Get used to spending that. Then go on ridiculous amounts and have to spend 9.5 million on Eder, which is more than the initial outlay for Odds and Edward. By the way, let's look at it that way for a moment. Then have to go out there again and get Engels. You hadn't thought of it like that, had you?
No. Now that you say that, it just, yeah.
Edward was 9 million. Edward was 9 million originally, and with add-ons it became 13.5. Right? We spent what was it? Anyway, it was about that. But yeah, we spent 9.5 up front on Eder. There you go.
That's scary. And like I say, we would have got him for 5 if we just paid the money at the start of the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
And he would probably copped a lot less heat because he was a £5 million player, not a £9 million player.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to bring up a comment here. Paddy Lavery, you wouldn't get comments like that brought up on Axom. We're on the other side of the world. We do what we want over here. It's a little bit
this show allows me to flex my dark side. Let's leave it at that.
Ask him about Pedro, Paddy. Next time you ask something, ask Liam about Pedro.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, so Henrik McLarsson says, interesting that Yamada says he's got pace and power and how he's different to Kyogo. So
he does have pace and power, to be fair. He does.
So it's one of those things where I'm looking at it going, you've got the club being risk averse, not wanting to spend, but then you've got Brendan. Last time around, this has given me the exact same thing going into his third season where he was wanting to bring in Castagne and wanting to bring in some other striker that were outside of the club's budget for wages and transfers. And now we've got all this money. He's like, look what we did last season. back me. So what I'm thinking is, could there be a power struggle playing out at Celtic between Brendan and the board? Like something along the lines of, back me with big money signings and I'll sign a new contract. That's Brendan saying that. And then you've got the board saying, show us your loyalty by signing a new contract extension and then we will back you. Is that what, do you think we could be seeing that playing out at the moment? And that's why we're getting those club signings around the fringes, but not getting the main players that the club clearly needs at the moment. What do you think, Liam?
I actually wrote a piece about this yesterday.
Oh,
Whether that's the case or not, whether that's the case or not, a lot of people are getting that impression because of the complete lack of communication from the board. If the board just came out and said, no, this is the plan, this is what we're doing, right? I mean, Paul Tisdale has been in the job nearly a year now as like our head of football operations, right?
what's he done?
What does he do? Is he the T-boy? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea what that guy does. And he might have been the guy that scouted Eramura and Yamada. He might be, but we don't know because the club won't bloody talk about it.
And that's the thing, like, if they had an actual plan, like, let's be honest, I can't remember who I think it may have been Burkamp or something like that at Ajax was like their technical director. And people would say to him, what's the plan? And he'd be like, okay, the plan is for us to win the title 3 out of every 4 years, but there's going to be one down year, which is when we develop, we come to the end of that cycle, players move on, and then we're spending that down year blooding our players, the next batch, to move along and push it along and come into the squad for the next cycle. And at least they'd come out and say it. That's the plan. We want to develop players over a period, sell them on, replace them, keep it going. But then after 3 years, we might not win the title. Do
Yeah.
we have anything like that? We might, but how the bloody hell would any of us know? The club doesn't come out and say shit.
And the stupid thing is, like, we know that that there was a presentation about all this given to a select, very, very small group at a fans forum a couple of months ago. Why the hell isn't that online? What are they? I mean, the thing is, I spoke to somebody who was at the presentation, so I know what was said. Everybody who wants to find that information can find it. But why are Celtic not just putting it out there, saying this is our plan, this is what we're doing? It's just basic communication. And whether it's intentional or not, I like to believe never put down to malice what you can put down to incompetence, right? I don't think the board are trying to be deliberately obtuse with us. I just think they genuinely do not know how to communicate properly with ordinary people. I think they are that out of touch with reality.
A bunch of assholes. Yeah, I'll say it.
Well, that's an easier way to put
I'll
it.
just
Yeah.
come straight out and say it. They can't communicate. They have no interest in communicating. They look at fans with contempt. They treat their manager like shit. And they've driven him out of the club once through a battle of egos between Lorwell and Brendan last time around. And now that's the same thing. And it's the exact same. It's like I've seen this show again. It's exactly how it was going into Rodgers' third season last time around. And we're seeing the exact same thing again. You don't treat people like that. You
No.
don't treat people like that. We want to be better. That whole thing, a club like no other. Well, that's a crock of shit. The way we treat our fans and the way we try to milk all of us dry, the way our managers getting treated, it's the way our players, like as I was talking earlier about Ida constantly having his boss saying, "Oh, I need someone better. I need someone better." Okay, but you just spent 9.5 million on him last season. So what's going on here? We need to be better all the time. And yeah, I'm finding it frustrating, to be honest with you.
Again, it's just such incompetence because how can it be that a club that wins as much as we do, that a club that is as internationally recognised as we are, why is it that every season we're sitting here shouting into the void about get this done, get that done, when it's so blindingly obvious?
How many seasons were we called that we wanted another left back for? Well, after
Yeah.
Tinney left the first time. It was
Literally the entire duration of Greg Taylor's contract.
exactly. And it wasn't Greg Taylor was the problem, because when he
No.
came in, he was supposed to be the backup to the horny man. Okay?
Yeah.
Then he left, and then you've got who they bring in? It was some bloke on loan, and then he goes, and yeah, it was just a shambles. Like I'm just getting frustrated by it because I look at it and go, all right, the left back situation was an issue. Another one thing we've been talking about all off season, pretty much since Jota got hurt, was we need wingers. We're going to need at least 1, 2 wingers because Kun's been off it too. So that's been obvious for 3 months. On top of that, for season upon season, for the last 3 years, we've been saying, where's Calmack's backup? He can't be expected to play so many games a season. Like, there's a comment in here, I'm just trying to find it, where if Calmack was to get hurt, who plays? And yeah, I'm just looking at it going, we need to be smart about it. Like if we can see this, we watch the games. You're in Japan, I'm in Australia. We're watching the games week in, week out. If we can see this from over here, why are they not seeing it over there? Are they not
Or
seeing it, or are
are they
they
seeing it and they're just choosing to ignore it? That's the, you know, again it goes back to what I said. Is it incompetence or is it malevolence? I don't know. Um, and the frustrating thing about the Calmac situation specifically is we let Tomoko Iwata go last season for less than £1 million, and
stupid move?
that was your replacement there. That was it. That was him. He could have done it if we'd have actually played him and gave him some space to develop.
Yep. He wasn't another Abui Kawasi. He would actually come in with pedigree. This guy was a J League Player of the Year. Like
Yeah.
coming in with a better pedigree than all the other Japanese boys we signed. Yet because he was behind the skipper, he couldn't get a game. Well, if he's that good, we should be playing him, and Kelmac can slide up one into an 8, and just if they still need to play him, push him up a spot. At the end of the day, heavy vibes is spot on. Scouts and youth is a waste of money at Celtic. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest with you, there's only one scout at Celtic is worth damn, in my opinion, and that's Tosh. Everyone else there, who knows what they do?
I would love to know how Yamada and Inamura were actually scouted. How did were these players that were offered to Celtic? Do we have somebody on our staff who actually knows the Japanese market? Because I'll be honest, I didn't even know who Inamura was until we were linked to him. I knew a bit about Yamada, but Inamura completely flew under the radar. Whoever identified him is clearly somebody who was really doing their homework on the J League. But I don't think it was anybody at Celtic. I think it's more likely it's an agency that's offered him to Celtic and they've gone, okay, he's worth £250,000 for a punt.
There's a comment on that one from earlier from McLaughlin saying, I don't think David Pleat scouted Inamura or Yamada. Anyone? Same thing. That was from 6 minutes ago, Liam. There you go. So you saying that tied into me seeing that comment going, how good? Yeah, so it's a bit of an interesting one at the end of the day. Like I'm just looking at it going, we need to do better. We need to improve. But let's not mope, let's not sook about it. There's a comment in here. I'm trying to find it again. Here we go. Smell the Glove was saying the problem with last minute signings is it then takes them another 3 or 4 weeks to get up to speed with how we play, and that'll be bloody October.
Yeah.
And that's the concern, where we should have had players in 2, 3, 4 weeks ago so they could do pre-season with us, get their fitness up and be ready to go.
Arguably our two most important games of the season are in August. Well, 3 actually, because it's a 2-legged European tie, and then we've got the Huns at the end of the month at Ibrox. If we win those 3 games, we're set up for another great season. If we lose all 3, then we're in trouble.
Yep. Then it's going to get a bit toxic on here. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as podcast. I'm saying on here in terms of Celtic fan media, Twitter, Facebook groups, all that. It's going to get nasty.
Being a full-time Celtic writer is not going to be a fun time if that happens. I'm not looking forward to that possibility.
Do you want a silver lining here, Liam? At least your hair's how it is, so you won't be pulling anything out.
No.
But it's not going to happen because we're going to win another treble. Fuck the Huns.
Yes.
So normally we do fearless predictions in the week leading up to the start of the season. Haven't had a chance to do any of that. So I might see if I can get the boys on the pod to record something, send me a video, and I'll just attach them. I'll just attach them onto the channel and just drop them out there and see how we go over the next couple of days. But keep an eye out for that. Over the course of the season, just going to give you guys a bit of an update what we're doing. So we're going to have Monday's only going to be the one show now, which is the Pot Noodle Week in Review. I want to thank the boys who are on that the last couple of years. Then on Thursdays, we're going to have the Thursday sesh. So those two shows will continue. Then I want to eventually get to the point where there's like one other video coming out during the week as well, whether that's like a Tim talk where I sit down with a Celtic fan, have a chat with them about how they got into sport in the club, whatever, and a few other things. So if anyone's interested in coming on a pod, doing a pod with me, we can release that, record it, release it over the season. I'm happy to do that and get the channel a bit as interactive as possible with all of you. So yeah, appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't done so, hit subscribe. Big season ahead for Celtic. Big season ahead for Celtic Down Under podcast. So yeah, looking forward to it. Anything else you want to discuss here, Liam, or should we wrap it up with the final thought?
I'll just say that regardless of all the gripes we've talked about today, I am still confident we're going to win the league at a canter. Take that. If you take one thing away from today, take that. I'm confident we are still going to win this league and win it well.
Same here. Like, we're talking about stuff because we're passionate about the club. Okay, and that's the thing. I'm not having a whinge. I'm not complaining because I'm a misery guts. I'm saying this because I want the club that I've supported my whole life from the other side of the world to do better. That's what it is. Okay, I see so much potential in Celtic, and I know this team is going to be great, but I want to see us just progress. And like last season was good progression. Okay, that's the base level now. I want us to push forward again and push forward again next season and be better again the season after that. That's what I want for this club. So we're still going to win the league. We're going to win at least one cup, and we'll have a good crack at Europe and potentially go on to get a treble. So the Huns are going to do nothing. So happy days. So what we'll do is we'll go for some final thoughts, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, my final thought, I was sad to hear about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne last week. And I guess maybe he really was the Prince of Darkness. I mean, he's only been a ghost for 10 minutes. The first thing he did was kill Hulk Hogan.
I was wondering where you were going. I'll bring up this final thought from Robert Gibson. Palmer's now Lech Poznan's wanker.
That's a good one to close the show with.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, Robert Gibson. First thing I saw, I was sitting on the couch reading it, I'm like, Robert Gibson. I've got to wait for his response on that. My final thought is pretty simple. It's a long season ahead, so here we fucking go. All right, cheers everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.